Hi and welcome to Code with Stein. This is the second part of building a time tracking SaaS using Django and Vue. In this part I'm going to implement authentication. So after this part users are going to be able to log in, sign up, log out and similar. I will also make it possible to change a little bit on the user profile. So to begin I need to create a new user profile Django app. So I can go to the command line and stop the web server. And then I run mkdir apps/user profile and then Python manage.py start app user profile, which is the name, and then apps/user profile, which is the location, and hit enter. And then I need to make it possible to register this with Django, and same as last time I go into settings.py and find installed apps. Here I add apps.user profile. So now Django knows that this exists. So then I can change the database model for this. If I just find apps and the user profile and models.py. First I want to import the user model from Django because I'm going to use this from django.contrib.auth.models import user. And then I want to create a user profile model. Class user profile models.model. This is where I describe to Django what kind of data I want inside here. I want a reference to the user. User equals models.foreign key. User model, just pass it in, the one we imported. Related name is user profile, so it's easy to access. And on delete models.cascade. So when we delete a user, we also delete the user profile. I want one more field here, which is active team ID. I'm going to implement this later in the series, but I can just add it now. Models.integer field. I can just set this default to 0. And then we need to update the database. So I go back to the command line and say Python manage.py make migrations and Python manage.py migrate. So now we created a new model called user profile and added it to the database. So now we can run the server again, so we have it running in the background. So then I can go back to the to-do list and set the first task to done. Next I want to create a view and a template where you can sign up. So inside the user profile, create a new folder called templates. And as mentioned in the last video, Django knows to look for this. And in here, user profile, so we can separate this templates folder from this. In here, create one more file called signup.html. And I want this to extend the base template. So extends core/base.html. Can set the title here, block title, and then sign up, pipe, and block. Below here I add the block content for all of the main content, and block. Okay, so you can just save this for now, and then before I build anything more in this template, we can go to the view and create it. Here I also need to import the user model from django.contrib.auth.models import user. Import models. I want to import the user profile model as well from .models import user profile. And I can say .models because we are in the same folder as the models file. Views. And I also want to import a few more things from Django. I need one shortcut, which is redirect, because we want to redirect the user to another page when the signup is finished. And I want to import the login function from django.contrib.auth import login, because we want to log in the user when it's finished with the signup. And I want the form from Django. From django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. creation form. So we get a lot of free functionality from Django by using this. And then I can go down here and create the view. Def sign up request. And here I want to check if the form has been submitted. So you need to check what type of request method it is. So we can say if request.method equals post, then we need to create an instance of the form. Form equals user creation form. I need to pass in the request.post data. And then we can check if the form is valid by saying if form.isValid. And if it is, we can create user equals form.save. So now we have a new user in the database. I also want to set, when we do this, we set the username to the email address we sign up with, but I also want to assign the email field as the username as well. So I say user.email equals user.username and user.save. So now we have the email in two different fields. And then I want to create the user profile. User profile equals user profile dot objects dot create. And we only need to pass in the user and refer to this one. And when that's done, we can log in, request, and then user. So now the user is authenticated and everything is okay. So then we can redirect him back to the front page, return, redirect, and just say front page. This name refers to the one in the URLs inside here. Refers to this one. But if it's not a request, if the request method isn't post, we need to create a form with no data. So here we just say form equals user creation form, like this. Then we return and render the HTML. Return, render, request, user profile slash signup.html, form. So now we have this available in the front end. So now I can import this into the urls.py file here. From apps.userprofile.views, import signup. I want to create a separate URLs file in a different part. I just want to make it possible to use this now. Just want to add a comment here. Auth path sign up slash pass in the view and give it the name sign up. So if I now go back to base.html we created in the previous part, I can activate the sign up button here, the URL sign up. And we also have a reference to this in the front page at the bottom here. We can save and close that one. And if I now go back to the browser, I can click sign up, but I don't see anything here because we haven't added any data to it yet. And that's what we're going to do now. So I can go back to signup.html. I want the header at the top here as well, just like the other sites. So I can copy this section HTML and replace the title with sign up. And the subtitle can be get a free account and start tracking time and save. So if I now refresh again, you will see this header as we have on the other pages as well. And then below here, I want a div with the form inside. So div class columns ID is sign up app. This is for view later. Div class column is 6 is offset 3, so it's centered on the screen. And here we can create the form method post action dot class empty 6, so we have a little bit space on the top of it. And also want to add a v-on submit validate form, because we're going to use Vue to validate this form. So when we submit this, sorry, it's supposed to be submit. So we submit this, when we submit this form, we call this function. But I can also add CSRF token in case the user doesn't have activated JavaScript in the browser, because then he needs to see this one. Then on the top of this, I want to loop through errors if there are any. If form.errors and if, then I create a div class notification is danger, so it's red, so you see that it is an error. Form.nonfield errors, these are some of the errors from Django. And then I want to loop through if there are any specified to one field. For field in form, if field, if field.error, plural, field.label, colon, field.errors. I just want to strip the tags so there aren't any ugly things. And if, then I can end the for as well. So first we check if there are any errors, and if there are, we loop through them here. And the same thing down here, I want to loop through errors we get in Vue. So div class notification is danger. And here I want to add a directive from Vue to check if there are any errors. So if errors.length and v4 error in errors. And then I use the double braces to print it here. Okay, below the errors, I want to print the field for filling out the email address. Div class field label email, and the div class control. These are some Bulma classes and fields, so it's a little bit prettier. Input type text. No, not email, sorry. Name, username, ID, username, class, input, so we get some styling. V model equals username, so we connect this to a value in Vue. You can just copy this, replace the label with password. We want the password type here. The name is password1, ID password1, and V model is also password1. Then I can copy this and say repeat password, and here it's password 2. Sorry, this was supposed to be 1, 2, and 2. And since I want validation both in the front end and the back end, I need to do some changes in the settings.py file, because Django is a little bit strict. So I want to remove the common password validator and attribute user similarity. So I only have the minimum length and the numeric. So now we can just validate if the minimum length is 8 and there are not just numbers. So this is what this is supposed to look like. And then below here, I want to add the button, div class field, div class control, button class button is success. So it's nice and green, sign up. Below the password, I just want to show a little list of the validators. So give it the UL class password help text. And here ally vif, this will only show if the password 1.length is less than 8 characters length. And then we say your password must contain at least 8 characters. characters. So also I want one more for checking if there are numbers or only numbers. If. Then say if it's not is none. Password 1. So this will return true if there are only numbers. No, if there are not just numbers. Your password can't be entirely numeric. So if you save this now and refresh, it won't look very good because we haven't added vue.js yet. Sorry. So if I go to base.html, you need to scroll down below the footer and include vue.js. So we add another block here, scripts and scripts. And I have a link to Vue 3 here. I will add this in the description in YouTube. Add it there. Then we can add one more block as well. Block, scripts and block. So now we can add Vue to the sub pages. And then below here we can create a new instance of Vue. Const sign up app equals like this. And then there's a vue.create app sign up app, and I want to mount this to sign up app, which is the ID of this one. And to make sure that these are not showing and we don't get any more errors, I need to add a data array here. Data, username, empty, password 1, empty, password 2, empty, and errors can be an empty list. So if I now save and go back to the browser to refresh, okay, I still get an error. To find out why. Okay, first I can just set the limiters, because Django and Vue has very similar syntax, so I need to change this here. So instead of using curly brackets for Vue, we use these regular brackets. Okay, of course I need to add a script tag like this. If not, it doesn't know that this is JavaScript. Refresh. Okay, now we get an error because I need to add a return here. If I now save and refresh, I don't get any errors, and the error here is also gone. So if I now add a letter here, you will see that this message is going away, and if I write more than 8, the other message will also go away. Perfect. So now we can create the function for validating the form. So below the delimiters here, we add a new property, methods. You need one function first. You can create this for validating the email. I'm not going to write this regular expression, so I just copy this. I can also add this in the description on YouTube. And above here we say validate form. I want to pass in E here, so we get an event from the form. And the first thing we do here is to reset the errors list. So we set this.errors is empty. So we know that it's empty and there's nothing if you try multiple times. Then we can validate the email address if not this.validate email, this.username. So if the email isn't valid, we say this.errors.push your email address is not valid. And at the bottom here we check that if there are any errors, we don't want to submit the form. So we say if this.errors.length e.prevent default and return false. But if there are no errors, we can submit the form by just saying return true and save. So we can test this now. Refresh. If I just write something here, sign up. Okay, I want to remove the validation, the default from the browser. Just add no validate. Try again. Sign up. Now we get your email address is not valid. Perfect. So then we can add the validators for the passwords as well. So I go below the validate email, and here I can check if this.password1 is empty. This.errors.push, your password is missing. And I can check that it has to be more than 8 characters. If this.password1.length is lower than 8, this.errors.push, your password must be at least 8 characters. And below here we can check that if it contains numerical values. We can copy this. If not is none, and this.password.1, this.errors.push, your password can't be entirely numeric, like that. And I want to check if the password is matching, so they are similar. If this.password1 not equals this password2, this.errors.push, your passwords does not match, and save. So now we have a simple validation function for the form. So if I just refresh now, write an email, a password that doesn't match, you'll see that I get must be 8 and it doesn't match. Perfect. But I can try to actually sign up now with a real email. Code with stein@gmail.com and then a password. Sign up. And now it's redirected back to the front page. This means that it was probably working. Perfect. So now I can go back to the to-do list and set this to done. Then the next task is to make it possible to log in with the user you created. Django comes with built-in functionality for this, but I want to create a template for this. So inside the user profile here, I want to create login.html. So we have it there. I can just copy a lot from this one, paste it, replace the title here, log in, because now we're logging in and not signing up. And instead of a get a free account, we can say log into your account and start tracking time. We're not going to validate this form, we can just do this in the back end. So I can remove this. So I can also remove this, and I only need one password field. Replace the button with log in. And I can remove the V model like this. So now it's just a regular login form. And save. Actually, I need to remove the one, because here we are. The login function from Django expects a username field and a password field. And to use this, I can just go back to urls.py, and up here I can say from django.contrib.auth import views as auth views. And below here I can say path login, and then I say auth views.login view.as view, and in here I need to set the template name. Template name user profile / login.html. Give it a name, login. So we can add this to the base.html and test it. So up here, next to the sign up button, we can change this URL, login, save, refresh. So if I now click login, okay, there's a little mistake there, but at least the rest here seems to be working. So I just go back here and add that one. Perfect. And I need to close the input field. So if I refresh now, it looks good. So then I can try to log in with the user I created. Code with Stein at gmail.com. Then my password. And now it's redirected to account/profile. This is default from Django, which I'm going to fix soon. But at least it's working, so I can set this task to done as well. If you want to build your own login functionality, you can do it, but it's very easy to use the one from Django. So then I want to create a simple My Account page, which we are going to be redirected to when we log in. So in here, I can create a new file, myaccount.html. I can also just copy this, so I don't have to write it again. My account, div class columns, my account. Now we can close it. I will come back to this template soon and block. Just wanted to create it so we have it. And inside the views.py in user profile, we can create one more view called def my account and add a request parameter. Return render request user profile / myaccount.html. But this view requires that you are authenticated. And the easiest way to make sure that you are authenticated is to add something called a decorator. So up here I import this from django.contrib.auth.decorators, import login required. And to use this, I just did this and save. So if you try to access this page without being authenticated, you will be redirected to the login page. Great. Now I can import this to the URLs. And at the bottom here, path, my account / my account name, my account, and save. And since I am authenticated now, I can go to / my account and I will see the page we just created. Oops, like that. Great. And since we are authenticated, we can also remove these buttons and show a link to my account instead. And that's easy. I can just say if request.user is authenticated, else I show these two buttons, and if, and agref URL my account. You can show this since we are authenticated. Class button is success my account, and save. So if I refresh now, you will see my account instead. Perfect. Okay, I also want to add some more content to this my account page. So in the top, I want some breadcrumbs. Nav class breadcrumb area label equals breadcrumbs. Close it. ul li ahref URL. Okay, I can just go this way because this is going to load to the dashboard when I create it. Dashboard li ahref. Whoops, sorry. URL my account area label current, because this is the one we are on. My account area current page, sorry, I need to add a class is active. Save this now, refresh. There is something wrong. Reverse for my account. Okay, add a space there, sorry. Refresh. Great. Below this, I want to add, sorry, again I messed up. This is supposed to be on top like this. Great. And inside the columns, I want a div class column is 6, div class media MB4, so we get some space below this content. Div class media left, this is where the avatar will come later. Div class media content, p class title is 3. First off, there is a tag to check if the user has a first name or what. First off, in one name, user.get full name. And if it doesn't have a full name, it just show the username, user.username. Then below here we say p class subtitle is 6, which is the size, user.email. Email like that. And then below this media we add 2 buttons, a href, just empty for now, class button is info, edit profile, and a href class button is danger, log out, and save. Okay, there's something wrong. I think this is supposed to just be in here. Yes, that looks better. Great. So now we have created a very simple My Account page, and I can set this to done. So now I want to make it possible to log out, and that's as easy as logging in. Before I continue, I just want to say thanks to my Patreons. If you too want to support me, you will find a link to my Patreon in the description below. So I can just change this to URL logout and save. And here, in the URLs below the login as a path, logout. Here we use the authviews.logout as view. We don't need a template here because we're just going to be redirected back to the front page. Name logout. So we can try this, refresh, log out, and I logged out here, but we will fix where you're redirected later. So I can log in again, and then my password. And as you can see here, I need to fix this as well, but everything here is working perfect. I can actually just go to settings.py, and up here I can set the login URL to login. This is where you will be redirected if you don't have access to a page. Login redirect URL. This is where you will be redirected when you're logged in. My account. And log out URL. This can go to the front page when you are logged out. Log out URL. Perfect. So now we can log in and we can log out and we can create user. So the next step now is to make it possible to edit the user profile. To begin with, you can add the view inside the user profile. You also want to be logged in when you use this, so we can say at login required def edit profile request. And here we also want to check the request method. If request method is post, then we get the use now first name and similar from the request post. We can just request dot user dot first name equals request post get first name if there are any. So it's default to empty. Can copy this 3 times and change to last name, And if the user wants to change the email, like that, then we just say request.user.save. And when the user is saved, we want to redirect him back to the account page. So we say return redirect my account. We have already imported the redirect function up here, but we want to show a little message when it's done. So here I can say message.info request. This is added to the session. I will show you in the front end very soon. The changes was saved, but we need to import this functionality, and this goes up here from django.contrib import message. And if it's not the request method is post, then we just return render request user profile / edit profile.html and save. And then I can create the template, edit profile.html. I can copy some of this, edit profile. I want the breadcrumbs at the top, so I can copy this. I can just remove this, sorry. And I can copy this and set edit profile as the active one. Edit profile, remove this one, and remove the is active. To test this, I can go to my account and just replace the login node button here, URL, to edit profile and save. So if I refresh now, something is wrong, can't import message. No, sorry, it's because it's supposed to be messages and messages. Refresh now, edit profile not found. That's because I haven't imported it to the URLs file. So go back there, but my account, edit profile and name edit profile and save. So now everything is okay, and I refresh, edit profile, and I forgot to close something there. Yes, and block, save, refresh, and now we see the breadcrumbs for the edit profile page. Perfect. And here I want a div class columns is, and div class column is 4, h1 class title edit profile. And below here, I want the form. So I say form method is post, action can just be a dot, enc type, multi-part form data, because we're going to use avatars later. And then in here, the first thing I add is the CSRF token. This is security from Django to make it impossible to submit this form from other pages. And then I want a field for the first name, div class field, label first name, div class control, input type text, name first name, ID first name, class input. And then I want to check if there are first names. So I say if request.user.firstName, then I want to use this value request.user.firstName. Now we can close the and if and the input field. And then I can copy this for the last name, last name, last name, last name, last name, and last name. And I can copy this, replace it with the email, 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 and email. And then a button for submitting the changes. Div class field, div class control, button class button is success. Save changes. We could add vue.js to the forms here as well, but I don't want to use too much time on that because now you already know how to add it to the other form. So if I now refresh, you will see that the email is pre-filled, but I don't have a first name or last name yet. So I can add my first name, Stein Ove, and my last name, save changes. And then you will see that here it's replaced with the username. Perfect. But we didn't get the message up here. Inside the body, the base.html, we can add it here on top of section. So here we just say if messages, because this is globally available, and if for message in messages, div class notification is info, message, like that, and for. So if I refresh now, I think I will see this message up here. Perfect. And when I refresh, it's gone. So then I can actually go back to go to do and set this to done. I want to separate the URLs file for the user profile, so I can create a file in here, urls.py, from Django.urls import path, and create a list down here, URL patterns equals like that. So now it looks like this. And instead of having these pages here, okay, these 3 pages can actually be inside there, but I want the my account and edit profile pages. So this can be like this. Then I paste them in there, and I need to import this from .views import my account and edit profile, save, and then I can remove these from here, and I can say path my account and include apps.userprofile.urls, like that. I'll probably change this more later, but this works for now. Also need to import include up here with path. So if I now refresh, I will get an error because, as you can see here, it's double my account. That's not good. So I can go back to URLs, and here this needs to be empty, and this just needs to say edit profile, because now it's already prefixed here. So if I now refresh, you will see that it's working as it did before. So now we have the possibility to create account, log in, log out, and edit the profile. And that's it for this part. Thanks for following along. If you like this video, please click like and share below. In the next part of this series, I will make it possible to add themes and also edit them. The themes will be listed out here below the information and these buttons. If you want notification when the next part is published, you need to subscribe to my channel and remember to click the bell. See you next time.